Hey guys, this is Gideon and coming back at you with another video. So today I want to talk about something that a lot of individuals struggle, and when they struggle with this particular thing in their relationships, unfortunately their relationship end up suffering as a result. Now, what is this thing that I personally think is one of the most crucial things that you need to develop as an individual in order to serve yourself, but also your relationship? And really, we can talk about your love relationship, obviously, first and foremost, but any other relationship you have, whether it's with in-laws, whether it's with a brother, sister, or even a work colleague, this particular thing, let's call it a skill that you can develop, will ultimately serve you in any and every area of your life. Now, the thing I'm talking about is what some experts call self-awareness. Now, I know there's a lot of sort of definitions around self-awareness, but for me, self-awareness just really comes down to your ability and my ability to know and pay attention to our internal processes. And the way that I tend to teach and also coach people when it comes to self-awareness, and in order to use that to benefit themselves as well as their relationships and their partners, is really to start paying attention to your internal processes, more so your internal responses to your environment. So say as an example that you always respond in a certain way to something your partner says, or maybe something your partner does. Self-awareness for me is really understanding or starting to pay attention and becoming aware of the fact that you always respond in this particular way to this particular thing, whether it's an action, behavior, or something that's being said. Because there's a reason why certain things, whether it's verbal or behavioral, trigger certain responses in us. Because you can put that same, sort of person with someone else, and they can say or do the same thing, and it'll create or elicit a different response in a different individual, because they have a different internal, let's call it, model of the world, or a different set of values, beliefs, whatever the case might be. So when you respond to a certain thing, verbal or behavioral, in a certain way, something that will help you greatly, especially if your reaction is negative, and it actually creates a ripple effect that is then, even more negative in your relationship, whichever type of relationship we're talking about. A thing that will serve you is to start paying attention to that very trigger, to that very response, and also the triggers that ultimately elicit that response in you, and actually start to becoming quite curious about why it is that you're actually responding in this particular way. Why is it that certain things just really get you hot under the collar? Why is it that certain things really set you off? Why is it that certain things make you feel sad or depressed, or make you want to withdraw, or make you want to fight? Why is it that certain things cause you to freeze, as an example, and you literally cannot respond to what's being said or what's being done to you? Because the moment we can start becoming curious about these things, and we can actually start digging into them, and actually start getting sort of behind the thing that's the thing, we can ultimately, in a sense, take control of not just our responses, but actually of ourselves. But without self-awareness, without paying attention to our responses in certain situations, we in a sense just keep functioning on autopilot. And whether that, the way we respond to certain things help us or not, serve our relationship or not, or actually help, deepening our intimacy levels and connection levels with our partner or not, as long as we just keep functioning or keep running on autopilot, we'll never be able to go to that next level, deepen our self-growth, our self-development, in order to be better and tune up better in our relationships to serve our relationship even more. So something that you can simply start doing today to start developing self-awareness, and of course there's a lot of resources on the internet that can help you with that. Me, myself, I've written quite a few things on my website about it. But just to get you started with self-awareness is simply to start paying attention to when you have, let's call it, when you have a really intense emotional arousal, or to put it differently, when you sort of have a sort of out of the ordinary type of reaction to a certain thing, is to, instead of just allowing that emotion to run away with you, is to actually, withdraw, pay attention, and actually, take some time out, go away and think about, reflect on, why is it that I constantly react or constantly behave in a certain way whenever that specific thing happens, whenever that specific person speaks to me, or whenever that specific person speaks to me in a certain way, or whenever that specific thing or something like that happens, I always tend to react in this specific way. Why is that? What sits behind it? Where does it come from? What's the furthest that I can remember me reacting in that way? When you start asking these questions to yourself and you reflect on those, you might actually discover quite a bit about yourself, and you might actually start realizing that a lot of these behaviors, a lot of these reactions that you have actually come from somewhere. And until you can learn where they come from, and you can sort of, commit yourself to making a new decision in order to react in a different and a new way, you will just keep functioning and reacting in a certain way, whether that hurts you, whether it hurts your relationship, your partner, your family members, or your work colleagues or not. And ultimately, that's not how we actually improve our relationships. So guys, this week my simple challenge, or today my simple challenge to you is to simply start paying attention to certain massive reactions that you have, and to simply spend some time reflecting on them, asking yourself, why is it that I always react in this way, respond in this way? And I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear what you discover, and hopefully I can serve you, beyond that. So until I see you again, just hit the thumbs up if this is on YouTube. If it's not, maybe just leave a comment in the comments area below if it's on my website, and I will see you guys soon. See ya.